Earlier this year, I bought 7 business class flights for less than $750. If I bought those flights normally, it would cost over $8,000. And I'll tell you the secret of how I did it so you can do it too. Everyone wants to fly first in business class, and for good reason. There's better service, better food, more space, and best of all, there's lie-flat seats. I normally hate flying, especially long-haul flights, but if I know that I'm going to be flying in a lie-flat seat, I go for the longest flight possible because I want the most bang for my buck. We all want to fly in luxury, but we can't all have nice things. And for most people, flying first or business is just too expensive. And yes, we all know about credit card points. There's tons of viral videos online about people flying business class for free using these points, but a lot of the times they don't show you how they found those deals or how many points they used. And I hate to break it to you, but point values in 2024 have become really bad compared to 2018 or 2017. But there are still some hidden gems if you're willing to put the time and effort to find them. Luckily for you guys, I've already spent my time and effort to find, hands down, the best business class point value redemptions out there. So here's how you can get $100 business class flights. All right, first things first, you have to start earning points. And the two biggest players in the credit card points game are Chase and Amex. Both are good, but in my opinion, for the best bang for your buck in terms of luxury flights, I would go for Amex, and you'll understand why soon. And another tip for any new credit card is to wait for a large sign-up bonus. The Amex Platinum generally has between an $80,000 and $100,000 sign-up bonus, but pretty often throughout the year, Amex has promotions where they give you between 125,000 and 150,000 points as a sign-up bonus. And the same thing applies to the Amex Gold. So if you're not in a rush and can afford to be a little bit more patient for these deals, I would definitely do it because it'll save you a lot of money in the long run for your first redemption. Alright, so now that you have these points, you need to figure out how to spend these points. And the best option by far to spend your points are through airline transfer partners. If you want first or business class flights, this is the only way to go. But some of you might be asking yourself, hey Kenny, which airline is the best transfer partner? And I'll let you take a guess. It's not United, it's not British Airways, it's not Cathay Pacific, it's ANA, All Nippon Airways. Japan has already given us anime, ramen, sushi, and now they're giving us amazing first class, business class flight deals. What more can you ask? And to highlight just how good ANA's deals are, let me give you an example. If you search on United Airlines Award Search Travel Tool, you can see that a lot of flights cost 250,000 points one way for a first/business class flight. But ANA is a Star Alliance partner with United, so if you used ANA points to book that exact same flight round trip, it would cost you 100,000 points. That's already more than half off of United's one way, and ANA's is round trip, so one flight only cost 50,000 points, which is 5 times less than United points. In fact, I was able to get 7 business class flights for less than 18,000 points each through ANA. 18,000 points converted directly to cash through Amex would only be $180. $180 for a business class flight. $180 is less than the cost of most economy flights. And the secret to getting these amazing deals on ANA is through ANA's Round the World program. So what is ANA Round the World? Well, Round the World, or RTW, is just a flight discount program under the Star Alliance group. And an RTW trip basically gives you a discount for round the world flights or round the world trips at a big discount. Every airline is a little different though in terms of how they do their pricing, and ANA RTW just happens to be the best deal in the RTW Star Alliance program. In general, round the world itineraries give you a few options. You have a set amount of flights, a set amount of stopovers/layovers, a set amount of miles that you're allowed to travel, and a few rules. As the name suggests, round the world implies round the world. You have to go in one direction, east or west, continuously, and then end up in your same country that you started in. And the time between your first and last flight has to be at least 10 days. For ANA RTW specifically, you have 12 flight segments, 8 stopovers, and again, the amount of points you pay is dependent on the amount of distance you fly, which we'll get into soon. So what this kind of means is that if you have a trip or are planning a trip that fits this criteria, you could fly the entire thing in business for the cost of one economy flight. Let's go back to my ANA RTW trip that I showed in the beginning to give you an example of what this looks like. As you can see from my itinerary, I booked 7 flights, all of them business or first class. So that's only 7 out of the 12 flights that I'm allowed. and I'm allowed up to 8 stopovers. And a stopover, as far as I know, is just 24 hours between when your flight lands and when your flight leaves. So in my case, I had a stopover in Chicago, one in Seoul, another one in Tokyo, another one in Seoul, one in Paris, and then that's it. So I had 5 stopovers. But if you look at number 2 here, I have a Chicago to Las Vegas flight that I didn't book on this trip. It says surface because it's a ground transfer. I have 5 total stopovers, but one of those is considered a ground transfer. And inside the ANA RTW rules, out of your 8 stopovers, 4 of them are allowed to be ground transfers. So I'm good. I have 5 stopovers and one of them is ground transfer, so I'm totally within the rules. For this entire itinerary, I spent 125,000 Amex points, and that's because my mileage was between 20,000 and 22,000. What that means is if my mileage was greater than 22,000, I'd be paying more points, but if my mileage was less than 20,000, I'd be paying less points. I just happen to be within a range where I'd be paying 125,000 points. And as per the rules, I started in Portugal, ended in Portugal, and my entire itinerary trip was 1 month long. All right, so hopefully that example was helpful. If you want to create your own ANA RTW trip, here's a basic outline. First, plan out your trip. You're gonna wanna figure out your timelines, figure out the locations you wanna visit, and figure out how many flights you're gonna need and how long each of those flights are. The tool that I use to figure out how many miles I was flying is Great Circle Mapper. It's a great tool. You can just plug in the airports that you're starting from and ending from. It does layovers, and it calculates the exact miles you need. And from what I remember, the value that I got on Great Circle Mapper was pretty much the exact same value that I got through ANA customer support. The second step is to check award availability on ANA's flight search tool. And a pro tip here, after you create your ANA account and start using the tool, is to use multi-city rather than round trip. Round trip just has this weird function where if one of them has an error, it'll just spit out an error for the whole thing. But multi-city allows you to go flight by flight, so it's a lot easier and simpler to use. While you're going through this process of looking through award availability, make sure to be patient because this part is the most tedious and frustrating. Oftentimes when I was doing this, a lot of the award availability was limited to 1 or 2 seats, and by the time that I was ready to book, that flight may have already been gone. So be prepared to be flexible and not get your first choice. You might need to look for different airports, different airlines, different departure times. Just be flexible. And then once you have all of your flights planned out, you've checked ANA's website for all the award availability, the third thing you're going to want to do is transfer your points from Amex to ANA. This is not going to be instant like it is for some other airlines. It's going to take between 24 hours and up to 4 days. You could start transferring your points while you're looking for flights, and if you're 100% sure that you're going to create an ANA RTW flight, then go for it. But if you're not sure and you want to save those points just in case, then I would recommend just waiting. And the fourth and final step is to call ANA support. You can't actually book round the world or RTW flights online for basically any airline. So once you have everything planned out, you found the award availability, you have the points in your account, you're gonna have to call them and be prepared to be online for an hour or 2. Once they pick up, just let them know that you want to create a round the world booking. And from my experience, the ANA support reps are very helpful and will guide you through the process, so don't worry about that. And after the ANA service rep confirms your booking, what they'll generally do is give you another call the next day to confirm the booking, as well as get your payment details for the taxes and fees, and then you're done. Pat yourself on the back, you've successfully created an ANA RTW booking and saved a bunch of money and used your Amex points to the absolute maximum. So enjoy your flight. I hope you learned something from this video, and if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments. Until next time, peace.